Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. As you guys can tell by the title, this is not a joke. I wish it would have been a joke, but it did happen. A few days ago, my vehicle was in a car accident. I say my vehicle because I was not in the vehicle. Eric wasn't in the vehicle. The vehicle was parked outside my house when this happened. So if you guys would like to know what happened, please keep on watching.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper toda mi...
So on Saturday afternoon, I was inside my house, chilling, just minding my own business, and Eric was outside in the garage. And I want to say around 8:40, 8:50, around ish, Eric calls me, and I was like, why is he calling me? He calls me and he says, Luz, somebody hit your car. And I was like, there's no way he's being serious. So I'm like, whatever, you know. I'm walking my happy ass over to the car. I walk out through the garage door because, I mean, I didn't believe him. I was like, who's gonna hit my car? It's parked outside the house. When I get outside, I do see that Eric is talking to the neighbor and some other person. This other vehicle was a Toyota, and the car wasn't close to my car at that point, but the girl that was there, she seemed pretty scared at the time. So I walk over, and indeed she backed up into my vehicle. My car was, like I said, it was parked in front of my house. Eric was working on the car that day, so he took out my car from the garage so he can work on his car inside the garage, which he normally does. And it's my house, it's my garage. And so we decided to put the car in the front, because who would have thought that they were going to crash the car while it was out there. When I get there, I do see that there's a little bit of scratches on the car. It wasn't as bad as I would have imagined it, or anybody when they tell you that somebody hit your car. I would have assumed that the hood was going to be bad, but it wasn't. The car was scratched up. One of the front bumpers has like a few dents in it. I wasn't planning on calling the police at the moment because, you know, she seemed scared. I didn't think it was too much for us to make a big deal out of it. I did get her insurance information. However, it was around 9:20 and I was inside of the house, and you know, I just started doing some research because I was wondering if it was best for you to call the cops even if it's a small accident. And everywhere it said that you should always call the cops just to have it documented. So I called the cops. I called a non-emergency number because nobody was hurt, thankfully, and I wanted to just have it on books and files that there was a vehicle accident. So I called the cops. Like I said, the non-emergency number. I'm talking to a lady. I tell her, you know, nobody was hurt. If they can just send a cop over to do like a report. So about 3 hours later, the cop shows up. Me and Eric go outside and we kind of explain to him. Like I said, I was inside of the house, so I didn't see anything. I just went out there once I knew the car was hit. So Eric was actually able to see more, so, or he heard when like a loud bang when the accident happened. So Eric was kind of explaining to him what happened, and the cop looks at me and he's like, ma'am, not to be exaggerated, but there's nothing wrong with the car. This cop obviously had no clue what kind of car he was looking at, because like Eric has put in his video, if you guys have not watched it, I'll put a link up here. I did get the car for $52,000, and for somebody to tell you this is nothing, like it was not a big deal, I was like, all right, whatever, you know. Like, I called an emergency number for a reason, because it wasn't an emergency, but there's damage to the car, and it's my car, and I'm paying a lot of money for this car because it's my car that I want. So for him to just tell me like, ma'am, like, I was like, whatever. Like, it put me in a bad mood because he clearly had no clue what he was talking about. So once he assumed, for what I took of it, he assumed it was a hit and run. So that's why he did it. He was making it seem like it wasn't a big deal because, oh, it's a hit and run. Like, you can't do nothing to it. You're not going to find the person. But once I mentioned to him that I already had the lady's information to get it fixed, because he said, he's like, oh, you can probably fix it with like for $1,500. And I was like, yes. I was like, I'm not fixing it. I was like, I'm gonna call her insurance. And he's like, oh, so you know who hit the car? I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh, I thought it was a hit and run. I was like, no, like, why are you just assuming stuff? You know, like, I'm calling. I told the lady, the operator, I told her what was going on. I told her we already had information. I told her it was not an emergency because I already had her information. So the cop just shows up in a bad mood, I think. I don't know. So at the end, he just told me, you know, like, just, you guys figure it out. I'm not going to make a report of it because you guys already have each other's information. So then he decided, once we were leaving, me and Eric are walking back inside the house, he calls Eric and he's like, nice car, man. And I was like, seriously, dude? Like, first you're gonna make it seem like it's not a big deal that the car was hit, and then you're gonna tell us that the car is nice. I know the car is nice. I was like, whatever, like, it's pointless, you know. But today I am taking the car to the car place to get an estimate of how much it's gonna be. Like I mentioned, the car is not, it's not as bad as it could have been, which I am very lucky and glad it wasn't, and I'm glad nobody was in the vehicle. I am gonna take you guys along with me while I take it to them. They might give me a rental car. I don't know if I need it. Eric has 3 other cars at home. Not sure if I really need a rental car, but I am gonna be filming for you guys. I'm gonna insert a clip now of how bad I think the car looks like. I do hope that they fix it and that they don't give me a hard time because it's not too noticeable, but I do want the car to look like it was before, just to have a peace of mind. It's unfortunate when things happen, especially because it was in front of my house. I would have never assumed that it was gonna get hit in front of my house. I just got here to the place where I'm going to be dropping off my car, but before I do so, my car does come with a option of if you want to put it on valet. That way they do not have the power of the vehicle. So then yes, I'm going to go ahead and press in my code. This is what it does. It does reduce the engine power. That way if they try to go ahead and race the car, they are not allowed to do so. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go inside and see what they estimate the car to be. Looks like the audio wasn't recording at this part, so to sum up the story, I pulled up to Service King so they can inspect the vehicle. Luckily, they advised me to take the car home because the part they will be ordering for the car will take about a month to arrive, since it's a new vehicle and parts take longer to arrive for new vehicles. The guy who inspected the vehicle also mentioned they will do a more detailed inspection when the new part arrived. At that time, they will see if there is any damage to the inside of the bumper that we cannot see. But for now, I will be waiting for them to contact me to bring in the car again. A few days ago, I received a call. They were saying that the part that they had ordered for the Dodge was ready, so they said that I can go ahead and take the car in any day. I got a call on Friday, so today is Monday at 7 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and drop off the car today. Hopefully the car is not there for too many days. If so, I still have Eric's other car that I can be using, the G20, because he can take the G35 to work. But hopefully they fix the car and it looks as good as it did when I first bought the car and not after they crashed it. But I'll keep you guys updated as far as how long it takes for the car to be fixed.
Many unbearable hours later.
They just called me. They said that the Charger is now ready for pickup. It was only there for maybe 10 hours. So we're gonna go ahead and pick it up and I'll show you guys how the car looks after they fix what was damaged. So as you guys can tell by that clip, I just picked up my Dodge Charger. The only thing that I ended up having to be replaced was the black thing in front of the car, which was the one that was most damaged. I also asked for the piece back because I just wanted to keep it for now. The car doesn't look bad the way it is. You can still see a little bit of the scratches. He said that he buffed out the paint, but the car looks decent for what it is now. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, even though it's a very sad video because I was not expecting for this to happen to my car. Unfortunately, when you waste so much money on your dream car, you don't want it to be hit. Unfortunately, this had to happen, but better things are yet to come. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you guys all in my next video.